I'm going to finish the book before dinner. A timeline. 1988, birth. 1989 to 1999. Nothing of interest. 2000. My mother is a childminder and my father an unskilled factory laborer. I enroll as one of the poorest students at a middle-class rural grammar school, selective but not fee-paying. 2001 to 2003. Lots of bullying. 2004. I first kiss a girl. 2005. I begin my first relationship and start binge drinking. I meet Frank Dubois. 2006. My first relationship ends. I notice the signs of early onset hair loss. I first kiss a boy. I stop eating meat. 2007. I begin university. I kiss many boys and many girls. 2008. I first visit mental health professionals. I have a fling. Later, at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, I meet an older, affluent woman and we begin a long-distance relationship. 2009. My father is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. 2010. I finish my degree and move to London at the behest of the older, affluent woman. I work mindless jobs for pocket money and live between her and her family's various London properties. I begin consuming large amounts of drugs and alcohol. I'm semi-violently mugged. I am beaten and bruised, but suffer no physical injuries that don't heal within a week. 2011. Partying and mind-numbing office work. I am predominantly intoxicated or hungover. 2012. I start writing regularly and cut down my use of intoxicants. I'm diagnosed with anxiety and depression. Around this time, I begin self-harming by punching myself in the face, which continues on and off until 2017. In the background, the London Olympics. I try and fail to become a YouTube rapper. 2013. I return to university after my grandmother is diagnosed with terminal cancer and unexpectedly gives me enough money to pay for a master's degree. My mother is diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I spend a month backpacking in southern Europe. I resume heavy drug and alcohol use. 2 half-assed suicide attempts. I'm first prescribed SSRIs. I meet the woman I will later marry, though we are not romantically involved, for many years. 2014. I return to full-time work and my health improves. My grandmother dies. I attend group therapy sessions for social anxiety. I take a second course of SSRIs. 2015. My hair loss becomes so severe, I shave my head. I receive an unexpected Christmas bonus and decide to buy a dog. 2016. I buy a dog and name him Cubby, after Albert Cubby Broccoli. My partner demands I quit my job and help her run a loss-making business. I spend a month hiking alone in Spain. I begin therapy with a skilled professional and try but fail to make plans to leave the increasingly toxic relationship. 2017. I again resume drinking heavily, though no drugs, and the drinking is mostly alone, until I have a severe psychological collapse. A third half-assed suicide attempt. When I'm at my lowest, my partner evicts me from her house, though expects me to continue working unpaid for her loss-making business. I spend time quasi-homeless and end up thousands of pounds in debt due to a doomed plan to move onto a houseboat. I am prescribed a high dose of SSRIs, which I remain on to date, Valium briefly, and beta blockers. I serve a pizza to Timothy Dalton. I read my writing in front of strangers for the first time. My paternal grandfather dies. I talk about being bold on BBC Three. I date. It's a difficult year. 2018. I fall in love and leave London. Bad Boy Poet, my first book, is published by Open Pen. It's a good year. 2019. Everything calms down, and for the first time in years, I'm able to open my old notebooks and collate this collection. My medication dose is increased. 2020. I'm diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I'm prescribed antipsychotics. I make plans to get married. There's a global pandemic. The Pleasure of Regret is published. It is sad and indiscreet. As am I, as am I, as am I. There's a little poem in a footnote here, linking to my comment around leaving London, which is, a man who is tired of hearing, a man who is tired of London is tired of life, is tired of London. Afterword. Borderline personality disorder. It's disconcerting to see your life pathologized on Wikipedia. For over a decade of my life, I've been in and out of doctor's surgeries and the stuffy offices of NHS and low-cost private counsellors, but each time anyone gave me a diagnosis, it didn't feel right. I was told I had PTSD, I was told I had depression, I was told I had anxiety, social anxiety, anxiety depression, PTSD. It turns out there's a single phrase that means exactly this: borderline personality disorder. It sounds extreme, right? It sounds like I have a personality that is on the borderline of being a personality. It sounds like the description of someone who flits between personalities like schizophrenics in bad movies. It doesn't sound like nothing. It doesn't sound demure. I've read through the Wikipedia article on BPD the evening after I met the psychiatrist. Almost everything it said about the typical sufferer of borderline personality disorder was true about me. Have I demonstrated a pattern of idealization and then disparagement of other people? Yes. Do I run away from social situations and try to avoid seeing anybody more than once? Yes. Have I self-harmed, self-medicated, done risky and dangerous things, made rash, life-changing decisions, or failed to make decisions that then resulted in decisions being made for me? Yes. Have I ever made big financial misdecisions? Have I ever had persistent feelings of bleak hopelessness, but also periods of hyper-excitement? Do I not know how to behave? Do I feel most comfortable around others when I'm denying and repressing my personality and my opinions and my emotions? Am I clocked out most of the time from every conversation I'm a part of? Do I regret too much? Do I share too much? Do I have conflicting and contradictory opinions and attitudes and behaviors? Do I judge myself and others extremely firmly, taking dialectical, unnuanced positions? Do I not make sense to other people? Do I not make sense to myself? The answer to all of these questions is yes. I have never felt so known as when I read that Wikipedia article. I've never felt so predictable. I've never felt so tired of myself and so boring, fucking dull. Who I am and what has happened to me is a type, is a disorder. I am officially not normal. The way I am is medically wrong. Borderline personality disorder is, I've newly learned, often the result of a coping mechanism gone wrong. It's what happens when people are invalidated, when the validity of their emotions and their thoughts and their experiences are denied. It's what happens when you tell a child its sadness, its happiness, its energy, its excitement is unwelcome and inappropriate. It's what happens when you have a regional accent bullied out of you. It's what happens when you're mocked until you change how you appear to others. It's what happens when your achievements are derided, and it's what happens when your academic decline post-puberty is utterly ignored by every single person who knows you. It's what happens when you're told you don't fuck right, when you're told you don't eat right, when you're told you don't dress right, when you're told you don't read right, or when you're told you don't write correctly. It's what happens when you attempt to be a different person for everyone you meet, when you try to be what you think the other person wants you to be, and you feel like you have to get it right because you don't want to be hit and shouted at again. You don't want to be thrown away, rejected, forgotten. It's easier to withdraw, detach, close down than it is to be present. I live in a city now where I have no friends. I ran away from London like a bold Dick Whittington. I'm always running away like a bold dick. I've always wanted to run away. I've always needed to. A diagnosis and the targeted treatment that can now be given won't help immediately. One cannot erase through a few words in a windowless doctor's office one rainy afternoon, a near entire lifetime of trying and failing to be all the completely different people that I kept guessing I was trying to be. I still don't know who I am, but at least I have a 3-word phrase to tell me what I am. We are all defined by the experiences that we live through. Sometimes those experiences really fuck us up. I have 1,000 regrets, but still, even I take pleasure in nostalgia. Thank you. That BPD piece is very strong.